some real bad reporting on that account, okay? That's one thing. I'm bringing this to this forum tonight because I want to see something done about those fire hydrants. I went and examined the one that was defective on my block, which impeded my house, the fire on my house being put out. It's dated 1896. That's 2 centuries ago. There's no excuse to have that type of equipment in service. In service. I put that in quotes. Wasn't in service. Hasn't been in service for at least 4 years that I know of. Maybe longer. 1896. That's unconscionable to put us and our property at risk by old antiquated equipment. Come on, if you Google fire equipment, what's the lifespan of it? I'm sure it's 50 or 60 years, but it's not 118 years. Council needs to wrap their arms around all these infrastructure problems and start wrestling them to the ground. We need a tax increase to float a bond, to improve all this. That's one thing. You know, I'm okay with that, okay? And I'll support that 100%. But you need to take immediate action because I don't want to see this happen. I'm sure you don't either. I don't want to see this happen to anybody else. It's unexcusable not to have a fire hydrant within 2 or 3 blocks of your home, anywhere within the city limits, that is not working. They must work. They have to work. It's your responsibility to ensure that they are working. Okay, that's one issue. The other issue is, I took a moment of my time this morning to drive by the 300 block of Pennsylvania Avenue here in Walsenburg to see the work in progress on that defective, inoperable fire hydrant that prevented the firefighters from doing their job in a duly manner. They had to run a hose all the way down to the 100 block. They had to go all the way down to Kansas. And they had lack of pressure going up the hill. And there were all kinds of problems, not having enough footage and all kinds of stuff. It was a total failure at a rescue attempt, I should say, attempt to extinguish the fire in a timely manner. From the back of the ambulance, I could see the flames. It was a small fire. It should have been extinguished well within an hour, but it didn't have a fire hydrant that was working so they could get water to the house, to the flames, to the source of the fire. Okay, this morning, I wanted to see what progress, what work in progress there was, if any, on that hydrant, if it was being replaced. So I drove by there. And I was ordered out of the area by whoever you sent out there. There were 3 people out there, and there was a lead guy, and he told me, get out of here, like that. I'm in my car on Polk. I'm not even on Pennsylvania. So it's like, wow. So I took off. I drove up to Indiana, made a left-hand turn, made another left-hand turn onto Polk, and came back, right back around, because I figured, hey, I'm still a property owner on Pennsylvania Avenue, and by God, I got a few rights too. And if I want to drive by and see the progress in work, you know, in work in progress, that is, on that fire hydrant, then by God, I've got every right. I'm entitled to drive by there and see what's going on, if anything. And it's been a real slow process, I might add. So when I come back by, I decided I'm going to park and just watch them for a minute. And whoever that lead person is that you sent out there, or your department had sent out there, charged me. He came running over to my car. He crossed the street. I rolled down the window. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Well, what are you doing?" I said, "I told you to get out of here." I said, "I'm just coming by to watch, to observe, to see what's happening here. I still own property on this block. I feel it's partially my responsibility to make sure that hydrant gets replaced." And they had a new hydrant out there. and they were boring a hole to set it up in there, but they were working, there were 3 people there. At that time, he got more than testy with me. We were past the part of being testy. He started harassing me and browbeating me and telling me to leave the area. I said, no, I'm not going anywhere. I have every right to sit right here and observe what's going on, the work in progress. And at that point,
Mr. Mayor, wouldn't this be a personnel issue that we should have an opportunity to solve, not in the public forum?
excuse me, I'm gonna wrap this up in the next 30 minutes. Okay? I'm not gonna get emotional here, I'm not gonna go on and on and on, but I hold you accountable for that too. This is your employee. And
You know, it's
I
unfair that you
just
bring this to the
excuse me,
public
I
forum.
have the floor. Okay? I just wanna add to this. This guy started screaming at me. And I really resent that. He lost control. He was beyond being angry. He started screaming some things at me, and I wrote them down. And you know what else I did? I had a camera right here, and I just started clicking, and I had the film developed today. And you'll see at some point, I'm sure, the anger on his face and his body language.
Very fine, thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. And with that situation,